I was just about 6 miles into my hike and I had been alone the entire time. It was one of those hikes where you have to park your car a little bit down the road and then you walk up the road to where the trailhead is. And this particular day, it was very foggy, so much so that when I got to the trailhead, I could barely see the cars around me. The hike itself was pretty uneventful until about the 6 mile marker, where the trees began to thin out, and I could see the sun setting behind the mountains off in the distance. The next 2 miles of the trail were probably some of the loneliest I've ever hiked. I was completely alone. My only company were the towering trees that seemed to be reaching for me, like they were trying to grab onto me and pull me down. Then all of a sudden, I noticed something strange. There was a shadow following me down the trail. Now, at first I thought nothing of it. After all, it was late in the day and the sun was beginning its descent, casting long shadows across the forest floor. But as I continued hiking, I realized that the shadow wasn't getting any shorter. It was keeping pace with me. As I turned around to try and get a better look at the shadow, I saw that it was coming from the trees on my left side of the trail. The sun was on my right side, and as the shadow continued to grow longer, I couldn't help but feel a sense of dread wash over me. Something about the whole situation just didn't feel right. I tried to shake off the feeling, but as I turned back to the trail, the shadow loomed over me, stretching from one side of the path to the other. For a moment, I stood there frozen, unsure of what to do. Should I run? Should I stand my ground? What was this thing and where was it coming from? But before I could dwell on the mystery any longer, I felt a sudden surge of adrenaline as I heard a loud crack in the trees behind me. Whatever had been making that shadow had moved again, and it was getting closer. With a start, I began to run. I didn't dare look back, but I could hear whatever was behind me crashing through the underbrush, gaining on me with every step. My heart pounded in my chest as I put one foot in front of the other, desperate to put as much distance between myself and the sound as possible. As I ran, I could hear the creature getting closer and closer, its heavy footsteps shaking the ground beneath me. I didn't know how fast it was or how far it could go. All I knew was that I had to keep moving. Then suddenly, as if by some miracle, the sound stopped. I dared not speak, but I slowed to a walk, keeping my eyes fixed on the path ahead. Had I lost whatever was chasing me? Was it gone? But my relief was short-lived. As I continued walking, the sound started again, this time even closer than before. I spun around, my heart racing, but there was nothing there. Only the trees, the shadows, and the deepening darkness. It was at that moment that I realized I was truly alone in this terrifying ordeal. No one was coming to save me. I had to rely on myself to get out of there. I tried to calm my breathing, to steady my shaking hands. I needed to get a grip on myself. Panic wouldn't help me now. I had to think clearly and move with purpose. With newfound determination, I picked up my pace, determined to put as much distance between myself and the unknown threat as possible. I didn't dare look back, but I could feel its presence behind me, a dark, looming figure emerging from the shadows. It was as if the forest itself was conspiring against me, the trees closing in, the shadows lengthening, the darkness pressing in from all sides. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig sent shivers down my spine. I couldn't tell if what was behind me was getting closer, or if my own imagination was playing tricks on me. But then I heard it again, that guttural growl. Closer now, accompanied by the sound of heavy footsteps. Whatever was behind me was closing in, and I could feel the heat of its breath on my neck. In a panic, I turned round, desperate to see what was there, but all I saw was the darkness. It was as if the forest itself was hiding something from me, concealing its presence in the shadows. I tried to scream, to call out for help, but no sound came out. My voice was stuck in my throat. I was trapped in a nightmare, and there was no waking up. And then I felt it, a cold, bony finger brushing against my shoulder, sending a jolt of terror through my body. I spun around, knocking over a nearby rock in my haste, and stumbled backward. But there was nothing there. Was I losing my mind? Was this some kind of elaborate prank? But as I looked around, I realized that I was truly alone. No one was there but me and the trees. And yet I could feel the presence of something watching me, lurking in the darkness, waiting for me to make my next move. I was being stalked, hunted, and I didn't know why. And then I saw it, a dark shape standing at the edge of the trees, silhouetted against the fading light. It was tall and thin, and it seemed to be watching me. With a sudden surge of adrenaline, I broke into a run, desperate to put as much distance between myself and the creature as possible. I didn't dare look back, but I could feel its presence behind me, relentless, inescapable. I ran and ran, my lungs burning, my legs screaming for mercy. But the forest seemed to have no end. I could feel the creature getting closer, its heavy footsteps pounding the earth behind me. And then I saw it again, that dark shape, closer now, emerging from the trees. It was real, and it was coming for me. I could hear the creature's ragged breathing, its guttural growls echoing through the forest. I could feel its hot, fetid breath on my neck, its cold, dead eyes boring into me. And then it reached out a hand, long and skeletal, and grabbed onto my shirt, pulling me back. I screamed, but my voice was lost in the darkness. I struggled to free myself from its grasp, but its grip was like iron. It pulled me closer, its musky, decaying smell filling my nostrils. And then I saw its face, or what was left of it. It was a grotesque parody of a human face, twisted and distorted, with eyes that glowed an eerie red in the darkness. Its teeth were long and sharp, like the fangs of a vampire, and its lips were pulled back in a silent snarl. And then it opened its mouth, revealing a cavernous void where its tongue flickered like a flame in the wind. I could feel its hot, fetid breath on my skin, its putrid smell making me gag. And then it lunged, its skeletal hand closing around my throat, squeezing the life out of me. I struggled, but it was no use. Its grip was too tight. I could feel my life force draining away, my vision blurring. And then everything went black. When I woke up, I was lying on the forest floor, my head pounding, my throat raw. I could feel blood trickling down my neck. I slowly sat up, my eyes searching the darkness. Where was that creature? Had it come back? Was I safe? But then I saw it, lying at my feet, a single withered leaf. It was the same leaf that had brushed against my face when I was running. And then it hit me. It wasn't a creature at all. It was a person, but who? Who would want to harm me? As the first rays of sunlight pierced the darkness, I got to my feet and stumbled out of the forest, leaving the nightmare behind me. But I could never forget it. The memory of that terrifying night, the feeling of that cold, bony finger on my shoulder, the stench of that decaying flesh, the sound of that guttural growl still echoed in my nightmares. And sometimes, when I'm least expecting it, I can still feel the grip of its skeletal hand on my throat, reminding me of the day I was stalked in the forest.